The op-ed that I wrote yesterday is titled, "The GOP Now Stands for Trolls, Vigilantes, and Death." And I think one of the most important points that I made in this article, and I really want to focus on it or highlight it, as it were, is that vigilantism typically comes about from one of two reasons. The whole vigilante movement started in the United States, or before it was the United States. It started back in the 1700s, 16 and 1700s, when as white communities would occupy greater and greater areas of formerly Native American lands, they hadn't yet created governments. So they didn't yet have police departments, so they would create what they called committees of vigilance, which were, basically folks getting together, sort of neighborhood watch kind of things, folks getting together and patrolling their own communities, their own little towns and areas where they lived. That pretty much went away after the Civil War. After the Civil War, the old slave patrols in the South got folded into the state militias, what we now call the National Guard, and also the slave patrols also got folded into the police departments of the southern states, which explains a lot. But these days, it's almost, vigilantism is not an actual attempt to protect, typically is not actually an attempt to protect a community from perceived danger, because now we have professional police forces. Instead, today, vigilantism, what you saw with Kyle Rittenhouse, taking a gun to a protest, is typically a conservative response to cultural change. Conservatives, by definition, don't like society changing. And our society is getting less white and more accepting of gender identity minorities, more accepting of racial minorities, more accepting of religious minorities. And this is something that white supremacists just can't tolerate or won't tolerate. And therefore, we're having a rise of a different kind of vigilantism from the old committees of vigilance. This kind of vigilantism is more similar to, and in fact, I'd say in many ways identical to, the Ku Klux Klan. They just go by different names today, and they wear different kinds of uniforms, and they're not afraid to show their faces. But that's what we're dealing with here, is the 2021 version of the Klan. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Thom Hartmann Program. Call 202-808-9925.
That article's over at HartmannReport.com, by the way. It's titled, "The GOP Now Stands for Trolls, Vigilantes, and Death." I think you'll find it fascinating.